Damming the Strait of Gibraltar. What would happen if we blocked off the Mediterranean Sea from the Atlantic Ocean? This idea has actually been proposed before. In the early 20th century, German scientist Hermann Sorgel suggested a massive dam across the strait, known as the Atlantropa Project. His goal, to lower the Mediterranean's water levels, create new land for settlement, and generate hydroelectric power. But was this ever realistic? And what would happen if we actually did it? First, let's talk feasibility. The Strait of Gibraltar is about 14 kilometers wide at its narrowest point and over 900 meters deep. A dam on this scale would be one of the largest engineering projects in human history, requiring massive amounts of materials, technology, and international cooperation. But let's assume somehow it gets built. The first major effect: the Mediterranean would start shrinking. Without the Atlantic's inflow, evaporation would cause water levels to drop, potentially by hundreds of meters over centuries. This would expose vast new land areas but devastate ecosystems that have existed for millions of years. The Suez Canal would become useless, cutting off a vital shipping route. Coastal cities like Venice, Barcelona, and Alexandria would face drastic environmental changes. The climate would shift too. With less water surface, less moisture would be available for rainfall. The Mediterranean region, already dry in places, could become even more arid, worsening droughts in southern Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East. Meanwhile, the excess Atlantic water that would have entered the Mediterranean could raise sea levels elsewhere. One fascinating consequence of lowering the Mediterranean: the potential for incredible archaeological finds. Many ancient civilizations thrived along the shores of the Mediterranean: Phoenicians, Greeks, Romans, and countless others. As water levels dropped, we could uncover entire lost cities, ports, and trade routes that have been submerged for millennia. For example, the ancient Egyptian city of Heraklion, once a bustling hub, now lies underwater near the Nile Delta. If the Mediterranean receded, sites like this, along with countless Greek and Roman settlements, could be revealed. And then there's the real mystery. Could we find evidence of even older civilizations? Some researchers believe that dramatic sea level rise at the end of the last ice age may have submerged settlements that predate recorded history. If that's true, the dried-up Mediterranean could provide clues to civilizations we never knew existed. Now, to keep trade routes open, we'd need massive locks for ships, similar to the Panama Canal. These would allow controlled movement between the Atlantic and Mediterranean, maintaining global commerce while regulating water levels. Additionally, to control evaporation more precisely, we might need secondary dams, like one off the coast of Sicily, dividing the Mediterranean into separate basins. The economic impact would be staggering. While some countries might benefit from newly exposed land, others would suffer. Coastal tourism, a major industry in places like Greece and the French Riviera, could collapse. Fisheries would decline as marine ecosystems change, and trade could suffer due to the complexity of moving ships through the locks. Would it be worth it? Supporters of the idea might point to the massive hydroelectric potential. The dam could generate hundreds of gigawatts of power, enough to supply millions of homes. Newly exposed land could be used for expansion, agriculture, or new cities. But at what cost? The destruction of ecosystems, unpredictable climate consequences, and economic upheaval would likely outweigh any potential benefits. In the end, while damming the Strait of Gibraltar is an interesting engineering thought experiment, it would probably be one of the most disruptive and destructive megaprojects in human history. What do you think? Could this ever be worth the effort, or is it an idea best left in the realm of speculation?